Well, hello everyone. My name is Clentus and welcome to my YouTube channel, which now has turned into a Thabo Bester channel. No, I promise I am getting back to YouTube related stuff because I have neglected that topic for a while now, and I think the algorithm is like, "Well, who's Thabo Baxter? I thought we talk about YouTube here." But anyways, guys, I am going to return to that. I'm just trying to find my feedback since the last time I disappeared on YouTube and I was doing YouTube related topics. I'm still going to get back there. There are so many things that you guys we need to talk about, so many stuff that has been updated, upgraded with YouTube. YouTube is becoming something that is no longer what you used to know as being YouTube. In fact, it has been bettered for your own success on the platform. Yes, YouTube is still the most difficult platform to grow on. The algorithm is really, really tough on everybody. And some people have actually dropped out because of the difficulty of this journey that they have faced. Like I always say, guys, if you are going to become a YouTuber, if you ever come across this if you ever come across this video and you are a new YouTuber, just know that you need patience and you need long patience because it gets rough on these streets. And so just know that when you're doing this, you're doing it for the passion of it, and also you have some kind of value you want to impart to other people. Otherwise, if you're doing this for money, you are not going to survive on these streets. That's just what I have to say to you. But let's continue with the Thabo Bester story because it just keeps getting crazier. But the first thing that I want to say is that if you know and you're watching this video, if you know that you've interacted with Thabo Bester before, whether you knew that was Thabo Bester or not, I think it will serve in your best interest if you went up to the police and say, hey guys, in case in your investigations my name pops up, yes, I have interacted with Thabo Bester before, but I want the state's own. But I want you guys to know that I didn't know this was Thabo Bester. All I was interested in was business that was brought before me, or I was interested in purchasing a home or an apartment or whatever the case is that Thabo Bester posed at. And so just let yourself out there, because if you are just going to sit at home and think, maybe they might not come for me, you could be wrong. The G4 security guard that was arrested and brought to court today, I don't think he thought that the police were going to come after him. That is why he did not stand up and come and basically reveal himself like, oh yeah, guys, I'm one of the people that assisted Thabo Bester. I'm not sure what miracle he was waiting for, but here he is today. He was arrested and he was brought before the court, and his case was also postponed to the 3rd and 4th of May 2023, together with Dr. Makudumana, the other G4 security, and the CCTV technician, where they are going to be applying for bail for the first time. I doubt that Dr. Nandiba Makudumana is going to be granted bail due to the fact that she already proved that she's a flight risk. And I also don't think that both security guards as well as a CCTV technician will be granted bail. I'll be very shocked if they did, because it shows that when they were working with Thabo Bester did pay them some lump sums of money, and they could use that money to basically skip the country. So I don't think that they are going to be granted bail, all of them, until the matter has been resolved, either through a guilty verdict or an acquittal. We don't know. We'll see. But this is getting very interesting. I will say it again. If you've crossed paths with Thabo Bester and Dr. Nandifa Makudumana, I think it will serve in your best interest that you hand yourself over to the police. Let the Lord decide what it does with you. But if it was an innocent interaction with them, then you let them know it was an innocent interaction. I did not know who these people were. I'm a business person, or I had business interests, and I thought I was going to be doing legitimate business stuff with these individuals. Up until now, when it's all revealed that these are scammers, they are con people and criminals, especially with Thabo Bester being a convicted murderer and rapist and all these other stuff that he's been accused of. One thing that I've always learned, as a matter of fact, is something that I was taught by my mom, is that never, ever, interact or trust a man who has nothing to lose. Thabo Bester doesn't have anything to lose. Yes, he's worth billions of rands, which is still a shocker to me that how in the world did a person serving life imprisonment plus 75 years minus 10 is a billionaire? How was he running these businesses? It's clear that this guy, people helped him. 24 G4S or G4 security guards were working on the night of the 3rd of May 2022, even though we know that Thabo Bester has been working in and out of prison, allegedly, since 2017. So it can't be that only a few of the G4 security guards there in that prison knew or did not know about this. So you need to clean them all out. You need to arrest all of them. Let them take the stand and prove their innocence, that beyond a reasonable doubt, I did not participate in anything that Thabo Bester was, except that I was the one that was guarding that prison. And he was one of the prisoners that, as a security guard responsible with my duties there, I executed them to the best of my knowledge. Everything else has nothing to do with me. And we need to find the police that are connected to Thabo Bester. We need to find the politicians that are connected to Thabo Bester. We need to find more people. Like, I'm not saying that Dr. Pashi, I'm not saying that Pomutso, I'm not saying all the other people that interacted with Thabo Bester are guilty of anything. But I would say, if they knew anything about Thabo Bester's identity and they knew this was Thabo Bester, I think it's in their best interest that they hand themselves over to the police and then let the law take its course, because you do not want to. I cannot imagine how you go to bed at night knowing all of this is unfolding, and at any time a knock on the door could happen and then you'll be put in handcuffs and thrown in jail and dragged to the public to see this individual that knew Thabo Bester and said absolutely nothing. So I think as well it will work in your best interest if you did interact and you knew. Hand yourself over and then bargain with the state. Do it like a plea bargain. Say, you know what, I will tell you everything that I know and the things that we did together with Thabo Bester and Dr. Nandipha Makudumana, provided that I do not serve time in prison, or whatever agreements that you are going to have with the state. It will serve you in your best interest if you did that, rather than sitting and then you'll be dragged kicking and screaming to court. And that deal falls away. And once that deal falls away, for you to become a state witness, then you will serve time in prison when you are found guilty. So I would say get out and come forward. Come forward instead of telling us snippets of stories. How Thabo Bester hired you to do 1, 2, 3. How did you meet Thabo Bester? And how come you didn't know this was Thabo Bester? And if you knew this was Thabo Bester, why didn't you say anything? Dr. Pashi, that's a question I'm also asking you. Who else as well? Pomutso. Pomutso as well, when it came to light that the company you were working for, I think 21st Century Media, and all these other stuff that Thabo Bester, you and Thabo Bester allegedly became business partners on. Why didn't you go and report to the police that you just discovered that you were scammed, you lost lots of monies, which you don't know how much money that you lost? And secondly, why didn't you say anything about your business partner or the person that hired you that actually you suspect or it is Thabo Bester? Why didn't you come? Why are you concealing an escaped prisoner or harboring an escaped prisoner? So there are so many questions at this point in time that I have, and so the purpose of this video is a question, in fact 2 questions that I was asked. The first question was, why did Dr. Nandipha Makudumana was allowed in court wearing a ring? And the second question was, why Dr. Nandipha Makudumana was allowed to enter court with her face covered? Now let me start with the covering of your face. So as far as I understand, especially criminal courts, is that, when you are accused of a crime and then you are brought before a court of law, the reason there is a dock You remember, a dock, it's separate from the judge and it's also separate from the gallery. You are just there in the middle of the court, standing all there by yourself or your co-accused. And the whole purpose of that is because, remember, the citation of your case is state versus, for example, Dr. Nandipha Makutumana. So now, who is the state? The state is the people. So before you enter any criminal court, before, let's say you've been arrested, your name is not allowed to be published before you meet and greet the magistrates the first time. Once you have appeared before the court for the first time, that is when your name will be revealed and the charges that you are charged with, if they will be charged on that particular day. And then once your name has been published, then the whole point of the doc is so that the people, that's the state, can see the individual that has committed a crime against them, the people. In the U.S., instead of saying the state versus, they will say the people versus, because the accused is accused of committing a crime against the people, the people's policy. So definitely, people need to see your face. However, in South Africa, it is on the discretion of the judge or the magistrate whether they allow you to have your face concealed or not. In some parts of the world, no, you need to show your face. I think in some countries, once your name has been called and you are charged, you will be asked to turn around and look at the gallery so that the people, the state, can see this individual that is accused of committing these crimes against them, meaning the people, the state. So it's quite interesting in South Africa how it is upon the judge to decide whether they will allow you to show your face or not. But it was correct of the prosecutor by asking the judge to order Dr. Nandipha Makutumana to reveal her face so that they know that indeed it is her that has appeared before the people of South Africa. And that is why she revealed her face. And when she revealed her face, seemingly she gained herself some fans. And these fans are so superficial as far as I'm concerned. They are shallow, basically, because it's got nothing to do with anything but her beauty. People got captured by her beauty. Her beauty is the only thing that they are talking about. They're no longer talking about a woman that aided and abetted an escape prisoner who is convicted, not accused, convicted of rape, as well. Let me not say grape, because I noticed the other time when I used grape, YouTube, it's what do you call, the subtitles went to that word that is not allowed. So let me just say he was convicted of murder and rapists to women, and he was serving life plus 75 years in prison. And she willingly, or she knew who this individual was. Okay, fine, they may have had a history back in the day when she was at varsity. It's still, it doesn't sit well, and it should not sit well with any South African that a woman of that caliber, and I'm not talking beauty, I'm talking her stature, meaning a doctor who is smart, who's supposed to know better, now goes under the sheets with a convicted murderer and rapist. It makes absolute no sense for people now to say, ooh, oh my goodness, she's innocent. Oh my goodness, she was forced into this. Okay, fine. I get the debate because there are two sides to a coin. We don't know why Dr. Makutumana was involved with Thabo Bester. We don't know what experience Thabo Bester gave her physically when she was at varsity and she missed that feeling and then she went after it, because as I understand, she was the one who visited Thabo Bester from 2016 and probably rekindled their relationship, and because she's a doctor with money and all this mess that we now find ourselves in. It's got nothing to do with beauty, people. You got to have morals. I think your moral high ground should be much better than this, because she is involved or accused of being involved in aiding and abetting a criminal, basically, by law. And also, you are accused of violating a body. Well, in this time, it's 3 bodies. You're accused of fraud and probably even murder, because we don't know who that poor guy that was found under that mattress in South 35. So it's quite interesting, all these things that are happening. Thabo Bester himself also gained himself a fan base. I saw some women say, "Oh my God, he's so handsome. Oh my God, he's hot." I've heard it all. He's sexy. What is wrong with people? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a whole bad boy thing that is attractive to some women. I don't know. But let me remind you, this guy, he is still a murderer. He is still an rapist. He is still a fraudster, a con man. And so what makes you think that even if he was let free, which I think he will, I will get to that. Uh, Even if he was let free, why would you trust him when he approaches you for a relationship? What makes you think that when he loses his temper, you may not find yourself at 6 feet under? How do you know you may not find yourself being hit against the walls? How do you know you're not going to be scammed? So to say, "Oh my God, he's so sexy. Oh, oh, Thabo Bester, he's innocent." And I even saw a hashtag, free Thabo Bester, hashtag free Thabo Bester. And I was like, are you guys serious? Are you guys serious for real? Because there is no way that you lose your morality just like that over a murderer. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. But again, I don't know what your trauma is and why would you be attracted to a murderer, an rapist, a con man. All this is legal because I'm saying legally I can call him that because he was found guilty. Even though I'm saying he was found guilty and legally we can call him a murderer, legally we can call him a fraudster, a con man and stuff like that. But now let's go back to his escape. Because that's another thing that I keep getting asked about. Like, you mentioned that he will walk free. How will he walk free? I'm not saying he will, because this, after all, a crime was committed. And when you commit a crime in South Africa, you get arrested, you get prosecuted, and if you are found guilty, you get convicted and sent to jail. But now also in South Africa, we have a system of identification. If you can't open a bank account without an ID number, you can't can't buy a house without an ID number, or buy a car. You can't go to school. You can't do absolutely anything without an ID number. Now, when Thabo Bester, let's now go back to 2011 when he was first arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced in 2012. Who exactly was the person that they caught? Where do they exist in the register of the population of South Africa? Or what's it called? Population register. He's nowhere to be found. We now know why Thabo Bester did not have an identity document. And when he appeared for the first time, when he was returned from Tanzania, he did made mention of that. I think it was hinting that that is what I'm going to hold on to during my trial for escaping. I want to know, who did you arrest? I want to know, who did you prosecute and convicted of all these heinous crimes that he was convicted for? And fourthly, who is this individual that escaped from Mangaung maximum security prison? Because all of that, a human being in South Africa is attached to an ID number. So as far as Thabo Bester is concerned, I think he sees himself as a ghost, which technically speaking, he is a ghost because he is not on the population register. And in South Africa, when you get arrested, your ID number is taken, not only just your fingerprints and in the palm of your hand. That is needed, yes, but that is not our identification system in South Africa. It's an ID number. So that is going to be very interesting how it's going to play itself out in court. And I think the state will have it very difficult to explain itself about his ID number. Like, who did you bring before this court? Who is this individual? So it's going to be very interesting. I think Thabo Bester, the reason why he is so smirky and confident and blasé and couldn't care less, it's because he knows what his defense is going to be. He knows the questions that he's going to ask in court when his trial begins. So at the end of the day, if you're a judge and you're not getting satisfactory answers from the state, well, the court has no any other choice but to let this person free. Free from the murder, rape, and all these other charges. Okay, let me start that again. YouTube. Grape. Grape. Okay? Grape. Grape. As in, but we know what we're talking about here. So all of that might fall away. And then he will go and apply for an identity number. And some people say if he applies for identity number, then that means he can be rearrested. No, there's double jeopardy involved. You cannot be prosecuted for the same crimes that you were prosecuted for and found guilty. But this time around, who was that person that was found guilty? So it's going to be complicated for the states as far as I can see and I can tell. And I think right now that is what they are busy trying to put together. How do they answer this question? Who did they convict in 2012? And who escaped from Mangaung maximum prison? And this could also work in favor of the G-Force securities as well, that we just let go of a ghost. But ethically speaking, they are still wrong. They can still be charged for attempted aiding and abetting of a convicted criminal to escape. So this case is very interesting. I'm not saying these are the facts, guys. Please don't come for me. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. This is just me sitting in my little corner and thinking, and I'm like, wow, this is what I see. This would be my argument as well if I was Thabo Bester. I would milk my ID, the lack of my ID number, for everything it's worth. Just milk everything of it. Just stand on that point. Just stand on that point. Who is this person that is before the court? Because if I'm looking at the judge, you have an ID number. I'm looking at the prosecutor, you have an ID number. I'm looking at my defense team, they also have ID numbers. The people in the gallery, they have ID numbers. The majority of South Africans have ID numbers. Who am I? So irrespective of whose fault it is, whether it's his mother's fault, because we now understand that she was Arabed when she was 16 years old. She herself, when she was Arabed, she did not have an identity document. Therefore, Baragwanath Hospital could not register Thabo Bester and give him a birth certificate. So whose fault is that? Do we blame the apartheid government because apparently all this happened in 1986 when Thabo Bester was born on the 13th of June? Who do we blame? Do we blame Thabo Bester? I don't know if I'm making any sense with this one. I know this will come as alarming to some people, but these are the possibilities that are going to play themselves out in court, and we need to start discussing this. We need to discuss this as I don't know, as a nation. What do we think? Our lawmakers need to do better, or at least this case should teach them something about population register for the future, because you learn from your mistakes. So anyways, I did not cover the fact that she was wearing rings and a ring in court. So as far as I understand, in South Africa, there are a number of things that you are not allowed to wear when you're going to court. Anything that, when you get arrested, if your shoes have laces, they will take them away. If you're wearing a belt, they will take your belt away. If you're wearing earrings, you're wearing a ring, you're wearing a pin, you're wearing brochure, you're wearing whatever that they may deem to be dangerous, they will take it away from you. That includes braces, cufflinks, and all that sort of stuff. They will take it from you, and you're not allowed to come to court wearing those things either. because you can utilize these things to escape. You can punch somebody with the ring, and while they're busy taking care of their injury, you are gone. Or you can use the same thing to injure somebody, or yourself for that matter. So it was wrong of the correctional services that brought Dr. Nandipha Makutumane to court while she was wearing a ring. She was not supposed to be wearing a ring, as far as I understand. So now that answers that question, and I think I will leave this video right here. If you have any other questions regarding this case, if you want to know what my predictions are, leave a like. If I can get, I don't know, 20 likes, maybe I'll create another video. Basically, I would outline all of my predictions, from Dr. Nandipha Makutumana to Thabo Bester to her father, and I think the brother as well. There's a possibility he will get arrested for extortion. Irrespective of what his excuses are, he will have to tell those excuses to the judge and let the judge make a finding whether he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, or he gives him a suspended sentence, which I think he will get, rather than prison time. And I also think all the other people, we're still going to see more arrests. But who are the big fish? Those are the people that I want to know about. And there was another question, but I will do that. I will answer that in another video regarding Thabo Bester being used as a mule by people on the outside. What do I think about that? Do I think he was used by Dr. Makutumana and the rest, and then because Thabo Bester is a smart guy, he turned on them and then he became the boss? So that question needs to be answered, and I do have the answers for that. Do leave a like as well if you want to hear my conspiracy theory on that one. So everything that I've said here is just a conspiracy theory. Nothing is a fact until a court of law has confirmed what I have said or refuted it. Thanks guys for watching. If you like the video, give it a like. Do leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of my conspiracy theories. Do you think they are plausible? And also share the video far and wide, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.